So we're going to do day two. So determinants, this is based on the assignment. So remember that we have the calculator that's in the within the assignments, whether you go to the assignments or you go to the lessons. It doesn't have to be in the matrix section to be able to access the matrix count calculator. Make sure though, when you do it, sometimes it pops behind the screen, so just use your tabs at the bottom and you can actually just pull it forward so you don't have to reopen it every time. So let's go ahead and rock and roll. Notation, important. Notice how these are just straight up and down. They don't have the little like pieces that curve in. This is saying like listing a set of matrix. So if I had like some A, B, C, D, so this is a matrix. This is actually determinant notation. So this is determinant notation saying find the determinant. If it didn't tell you, just said like evaluate, you should know. That means that you need to figure out what the determinant is. So remember, when we talk about the determinant, always start with the top left, and then you're going to go diagonal across. So we're going to go 3 times 4, and then it's minus, and I go my diagonal. So -3 times a -1. So this is going to give me 12. A negative and a negative here is going to make these positive, but then it's still minus that value. So it's 12 minus 3, and my answer is a value of 9. So remember, has to be, to find the determinant, has to be a square matrix. These are all 2 by 2s, a little bit different than when we get to our 3 by 3, so we'll come to that. But if it's not a square matrix and it says find the determinant, can't do. Nope, no solution, not possible, whatever it might be. So let's keep on going through. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to multiply across. So this is going to be 8 times a -1 minus, and I multiply across, -4 times -1. So these aren't hard, but you have to know what that pattern is. So when I go ahead and I evaluate this, it's going to give me -8, a negative and a negative makes it a positive. Watch all of your signs. So this is going to be -4 is going to give me a -12, and there's my solution. Couple more to do. Again, this is just some practice here. So it's going to be -12 times my 5 minus, and I do 12 times my -1. So this is going to give me -12 times 5 is a -60. A negative and a negative here is going to give me plus the value of 12. So I'm going to end up here with a -48, -48. Next one, my last one of these. So again, this is just some great practice and repeating that pattern. So 2 times a -1 minus, and this is going to be 2 times a -1, and that's going to give me -2. A negative and a negative is going to make this positive, so +2 is going to give me a value of 0. So notice the rows were identical, they're going to zero out. If the rows are identical, they're always going to zero out. Let me open up that chat, sorry, just in case anyone has something. Of course, if you want to unmute yourself and ask questions, if I go too fast on anything, please let me know. I'm here to help you guys. Want to make sure that you guys understand. So this is the 3 by 3. I can't go and plug the answer for this one into that calculator. I need to know how to do it. Remember, if it was values, we can use our calculator on 3 by 3, but I also showed you guys how to do it by hand. So remember, if we're going to do this by hand, I need to copy down my first column, next to my last one. So it was an A, D, G. I'm going to copy down that second column. So that was B, E, H. Now, if I remember, you remember when we want to figure out what is, how do I calculate that 3 by 3? So we start our diagonals and we multiply diagonally. So it's going to be A, E, I. So everything that's going from the top down, these are always going to be my plus ones. So plus, then it's B, F, G, B, F, G. Then it's C, D, H, C, D, H. And then everything, so we're going to have our diagonals again. So remember, my diagonals have to make that 3. That's why we extend those extra columns so that we can get to see our row of 3, our diagonal of 3. So here, this diagonal doesn't count because it's only a diagonal of 2. So I'm going to start here. And so remember, when we start at the bottom and we go up, those are our minuses. So it's going to be minus my GEC minus HFA and minus IDB. So I don't need to worry about this GE because that's only 2. So I have to have my 3 variables. So when I match them up, it was this one right here. So it's always that same pattern, always that same pattern. All right, my next one says, use the determinant of the coefficient, let me pull that up. Use the determinant of the coefficient matrix. So we're focusing on the coefficient matrix to determine which of the following linear systems has a unique solutions. All right, so when I look at this, the determinant or the coefficient matrix is only focusing on the values that are with the coefficient, not the solution. That would be an augmented matrix. So when I look here, I want to figure out the determinant of 1, 3, 3, -1. Has to be squared. This is square. If I had my augmented matrix, it wouldn't be square and I couldn't calculate the determinant. So I go ahead and I plug this, or I could go ahead and evaluate this. I don't need to plug this in the calculator. So this is going to give me, my determinant is going to be 1 times my -1 minus 3 times 3. And that's going to give me a value of -1 minus 9, which is -10. As long as I get a value here, I have a unique solution. I have a unique solution. Means I have one unique solution. If I get a value of 0, then that's when we have no solution, or we have that infinite solutions. So if this is 0, then it's either no solutions or infinite solutions. It's not going to give me a unique solution there. So when I have a real number, I have one unique solution. That means I have one value for x and y. One value for x and y. So this is going to be a unique solution. So when I go to the next one here, my matrix I want to find the determinant of is going to be my 1, 2, -1. This is going to be 1, -1, 2, 2, -3, 1. And you know what? For this, I would go to my calculator. Do you guys want me to show you guys how to plug it into the calculator, or are you guys good with that piece? Totally up to you. I have no problem showing you the calculator again, if anybody wants it. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to my Edgenuity, and let me just do it this way. So I'm going to go, I'm just going to hit instruction, first one that popped up, because it doesn't matter. I open my calculator. Let's pause that so we don't listen to that. So my calculator went behind. There it is. And I want a 3 by 3. So I'm going to plug in the numbers again. It's 1, not 10. So it's going to be 1, 2, -1. I'm going to have a 1, -1, 2. I'm going to have a 2, -3, and 1. Okay, so once I do that, hold on. It's not, okay, so you guys can't see the calculator. Let me switch my share options. Share. Okay. There we go. Calculator's on the screen now, I hope. Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so here's my calculator again. I just went to the first lesson, and it's always going to be the third one over. You can go to whatever lesson, it's going to be there, and you can pull it up. So there's my calculator. I typed in the values, and then I'm going to select operation. I want to find the determinant. So when I hit the determinant, I get the value of 12. So when I go here and I put this in the calculator, the determinant equaled 12. That means because it's not a value of 0, I have a unique solution. So I can go ahead and check that. So let's do this again, our last one. I need to figure out the determinant of 1, 3, 1, 2, 6, 2, 1, 1, 1. So I go to my calculator. It's right here. And I'm going to type in those values. So I get I'm going to have 1, 3, 1, 2, 6, 2, and then a 1, 1, 1. And when I go to find my determinant, 1, 3, 1, 2, 6, this should be a 2. So make sure you double check your work. 2, 6, 2, 1, 1, 1. And I get the determinant here is going to be a value of 0. Determinant is a value of 0. So I put it in my calculator and I got a value of 0. Because this is a 0, that means that there is no unique solution. That means that there's not a specific X, Y, or Z value. It means that there's not just one value for each of them. That's because it's either a no solution or it's going to be an infinite solution. So it's either going to be a no solution or an infinite solution when we talk about those. So it's not going to have one unique solution. Questions on those? Questions? All right, next one then. Calculate the area of the triangle. So we saw one of these on Friday. So the area, when we want to figure out the area of this triangle, the easy way to figure out the area of this triangle is our area is going to equal, it's going to be plus or minus, because my answer always has to be a positive. It's going to be 1/2 of our determinant. So whatever that determinant is, we'll call it determinant of the matrix A. So we need to figure out, what is this determinant? Well, what is the matrix, right? So remember, when we talk about this, we went ahead and we took these values. So here's my X, here's my Y, and then my last column is always going to be my ones, my value of ones, because we have to have that square matrix. So I'm going to have my first point, I'll go ahead and I'll do is -2, 6. And this is going to be, again, ones. My last column is always just going to fill it with ones. So my next point is -2, 0. And this is going to be 7, -5. So again, these are each of the points, my X coordinate, my Y coordinate. So I would want to figure out the determinant of this. It's a 3 by 3. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator. So let's pull up the calculator. We still have it out. There it is. So I'm going to plug in my values, and I'm going to have a -2, 6, 1. I'm going to have a -2, 0, 1, and I'm going to have a 7, -5, and 1. And I see right here that my determinant is 54. And my determinant is 54. As soon as I hit that last one and I hit enter, it automatically recalculates it, or you could just select it if it's not changing. So I can see then that this value is going to be a value of 54. So when I look here, then I go ahead and I have to figure out my area. My area is going to be plus or minus 1/2 of 54. Well, is it going to be plus or is it going to be minus? Your answer here, you're going to use that addition sign, because again, when you find the area, you can't have a negative area. That doesn't exist. So it's going to be 1/2 of 54, which is 27. So my area is going to be 27 square units. And that's it. So don't forget, these are always going to be your column of ones. So your X, Y, when you line them up, but it's going to be done the same way every time. Any questions on the calculator or notation or anything in general? Alrighty, well then you guys have good luck on your assignment today. If you need anything, send me a message. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is 9:30. So I'll see you guys then. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.